Welcome to another episode of Lucas and Moe Versus the World. Yes, we're bringing you the second episode in 2018. Shit, how did I forget that?
Let me shut up. Like you forgot what year it was.
Yeah. Let me shut up and let Lou do his thing, all right?
I was told to defend this goal, defend to the death, to the very last breath.
Welcome back, Knuckleheads, to the second show of 2018, Lucas and Moe Versus the World. Today, we'll talk about new leadership for the DCEU, Netflix for sale, maybe, Silver and Black has picked their filming location in Mexico, and first, we're going to start with Last Jedi Box Office returns.
Thank you.
Moe,
okay.
Apparently, as of today, Last Jedi is sitting at about $1.22 billion in returns. It is currently flopping in China, which was kind of expected, but the shocker of it all is this weekend. It is predicted to fall behind Jumanji and it could finish as low as third this weekend at the box office.
So,
Moe, what do you think?
I'm ready.
Is it safe to say that Last Jedi is failing?
Oh, okay.
Or
No. Let me let you say this.
Nigga, talk that says.
No, The Last Jedi is a bad movie, and it's only making money because it's a Star Wars movie. It's only up at whatever billion dollars it is because it's a Star Wars movie, but fundamentally, it's a bad movie. That's one. Two, the movie's falling behind Jumanji. Like, let me let that sit for a while. I know it's the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th day of the year. Jesus Christ. It's the 7th day of the year. So it's not a big deal, right? Bruh. It is Jumanji. The Rock, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Karen Gillian, and one of the Jonas Brothers. Let me let that sink in your head real quick.
This is one of the Jonas.
Oh,
it's so disrespectful.
I don't know his name. I think it's Nick or something. But it's one of the Jonas Brothers. Do you understand? This is a Star Wars movie, bro. Like, this movie had Luke Skywalker in it. This movie had Leia in it. And it's falling behind Jumanji. Not just that. Now, the movie's in China, granted. You know, this is where most Hollywood movies go to make their bank or go to save themselves or go to look good. And you fell behind in China to a random Chinese comedy, a local movie. Bruh. Can we stick a fork in this movie already and stop talking about it?
Let's I'm gonna play good cop here a little bit.
All right, bet.
Let's
No, fuck good cop. Fuck that shit. I'm so mad at this movie. Lucas, you remember what I did for this movie? You remember what I did for this movie?
No one told you to do a blackout for a movie. Next to no movie's going to be worth it if you do a blackout, especially. No, this one was especially not worth it because it wasn't a good movie.
Right.
But I'll say this in defense of The Last Jedi and its box office returns.
If you defend this movie, Lucas,
I thought this film could end up at 1.6. It only being at 1.1 and possibly it'll climb over 1.2 after this weekend. The amount of steam it's losing. Man, listen, it's going to come in a lot lower than what I thought it was going to come in at. But still, I can't necessarily call it a failure because of the amount it's pulled in, but I can say it's a huge disappointment because that's what it's going towards, is a huge disappointment. There's no way in this film's 4th weekend you should be losing to Jumanji. There's no way in this film's 3rd weekend you should have been within $1 million of Jumanji. Jumanji is overperforming with a Star Wars movie hanging over his head. Let that part sink in, because that's the part that needs to sink in.
Let me tell you, I think, Lucas, you told me this a while ago. Jumanji started selling tickets and opened, I think, a week earlier than it was supposed to because
2 weeks before, because they were terrified of going against Star Wars.
And it's like, now it's like, should we have done that? We're dogging Star Wars.
Now, at this point, Jumanji is the legs on Jumanji seem to be longer than what you're going to get from Star Wars. Star Wars just had a bigger initial impact than Jumanji. That tells you a lot about the way people view this Star Wars movie because it's not telling me how people view Jumanji. Jumanji could have been this good no matter what, and it still should not have made the impact that it's having right now. The Star Wars movie, man, this shit's falling fast, man.
Is that the word of
This
the year,
is
Lucas?
this
Impact?
is this, huh?
Impact. Is that the word of the year?
Hey, dude, everything is about impact. If you don't have the proper impact, it don't matter what you make.
Right.
Star Wars made awesome money, but
Over the
the
weekend.
impact film since its release has been Jumanji. That's how you got to look at these two things.
That's crazy,
Because
man.
how many people walk out of Star Wars film, this one, and were disappointed by it?
This guy
So
right here.
when I see these box results and I'm seeing the way they're coming in, and I made excuses for the first weekend of Star Wars' box office, and I said the biggest hit is going to be that second weekend, and it dropped like a brick the second weekend. And since then, it's not been able to fully recover. Like, even the best box office person did not think it's a chance this movie won't reach 1.5 billion.
Man,
That
if
means
it
that
doesn't-
people will
if
pay.
it doesn't hit
If it doesn't reach
1.5,
1.5 billion,
that's a
man, that is
disappointment.
it's a huge disappointment.
You gotta
There's
go
no
back.
way in hell this performing this low. But it also proves that Star Wars is not the player overseas that Disney needs it to be.
That's not a good look.
Force Awakens made $1 billion, but it made close to $1 billion in the US. So that means it played close to a 50-50 split in box office.
Right.
The last film that was a success that did that was Wonder Woman. And everybody say it's because Wonder Woman does not sell to international audiences. So the point that Star Wars films right now are running 50-50 splits means that the international crowd is not liking these movies at all.
Nope. They're not
It's
liking
the
what
US
they
crowd that's giving these films box office. That's a dangerous trend to follow.
say. That is
Because once you're not appealing to the rest of the world and you're only appealing to America, you become an Americanized film. And that's the reason why it's a good chance that The Last Jedi is going to make less money in China than Rogue One.
Well, that'd be sad.
Again,
That would be sad.
let that sink in.
Yeah.
Like, these movies are not doing what they should be doing. This one especially. This was nothing that Disney wanted. And if I'm Disney, I'm seriously considering dropping Mr. Johnson from doing another trilogy. Because if all he's going to do is give you 3 more Last Jedis, there's no way in hell I'm letting him do it.
Well, he got to come back stronger with whatever. Like,
Dude,
he gotta
fuck come
pitch
back
something
stronger. They need to cut the dead weight. Fuck that. They don't need to be nice there, Mo. Cut the dead weight, dog. This nigga got to go. Get
Alright.
his ass the fuck up.
I ain't mad at that.
It's over, dude.
It's over.
You come in, $600 million less than the last Star Wars movie. Fuck. At best, the best outcome could have been him coming $400 million less than Force Awakens.
Right.
Now it's looking like he may come in $500 to $550 million less than The Force Awakens. How the fuck is that possible when you are a sequel to a film that was good and well received? It only happens because your film is not good or well received.
It's not. Like,
it's the only way it happens.
The people who defend this movie, I really want to have a conversation with some people who are defending this movie, because if you walked out of this movie like I did and was like, what is this? Like, what just happened? What did I just see? Bro, that's like, Lucas, I was texting you while I was watching this movie. I'm bored as shit. You should not be bored in a Star Wars movie, bro.
I fell asleep for a little bit. It was boring.
You should not be bored in a Star Wars movie.
It was boring, man. It was man.
I'm so angry. I'm really angry. And
we
that blackout, man.
We are real close to. I'm real close to calling this movie trash. I'm trying my best not to.
I am
so close to calling this movie trash. If it comes in under 1.5 billion, it's trash. It's
garbage.
And I don't want to hear nobody tell me, but 1.5 billion is great returns. No, it is. For any other
Force
film
Awakens did 2.
besides Star Wars.
Get out of here, man.
That's what I mean.
Get out.
Any other film besides Star Wars, 1.5 would not be bad. But Hey man, it's disappointing, Mo. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm done
It's
talking about
failing
Star
right
Wars,
now.
man. I'm done talking about Star Wars. Trash ass movie. Anyways, let's get on to bigger and better things. I was gonna save this one till the end of the podcast, but I figured, you know what? I need to feel good about something. I want to talk about something that's gonna make me feel good, and I want to talk about Silver and Black movie from Sony and their new Twisted Spider-Verse. This was a movie that when it was announced, nobody knew if anything was gonna happen with it. But it looks like Sony is gung ho about making their Spider-Verse movies and making these movies because they still have those properties. And damn Marvel, I really like that. More than anything is when the news came out and they attached the director to it. I think they attached Gina Prince by the Wood, a female director. More importantly, an African
Female black
American
director.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You got to add that part.
Female black
Bro.
female director.
I think
Come on.
more than Black Panther, this movie is for the culture because a black woman in Hollywood is, man. You know what? I'm not even gonna go into
Hey, a black woman who directed Love and Basketball,
bro.
dude. She did disappearing acts with Wesley Snipes and Sanaa Lathan. Like, she's legit. Like, she's legit, 100%. And the point that they threw this movie behind her and said, we're going to have female lead characters, so we want a female director, and this is the female director they picked?
Yeah.
Okay, Sony. I see what you're doing.
I see what you're
I
doing.
ain't mad at Sony for this one, man.
You can't be.
I ain't mad at them for this one.
You can't be. So, what I want to talk about is this movie's filming, and it's filming in Mexico this spring. Lucas, we've already started talking about the movie, man. What else you got to add on this, man? Because I am so excited about this. Like, this is...
Well,
go ahead.
For someone who does not know much about these characters, because again, I am not in the comic books at all.
Right.
Only time I've ever seen Black Cat was on the cartoon.
Yes.
I don't know who the fuck the Silver Lady is, but I'm excited only based off of the director.
Right.
Miss Prince Bywood. Did I say her name right?
By
Bywood.
Yeah.
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 But Miss Bywood, she wrote Love and Basketball, dude. You get all the credit for me for writing Love and Basketball. She also wrote Beyond the Lights. If you all have not seen it, that is a fucking movie. Yes. She did Secret Lives of Bees, which is also a really good movie. And she was a writer on the series Shots Fired that came out last year with Sanaa Lathan.
That was good.
This is a legit female African American, I don't use that term too often, black director who is for the culture. Like, come on, dude. She has me so hyped for this movie to see the direction she's going to take it in.
Oh, did you know
she's more than I'm hyped about Ava and her doing the Wrinkle in Time jump? I'm more hyped about Gina and what she does with this film.
Did you know she's co-writing this movie? She's also co-writing this movie with Christopher Yost.
Yes, dude. Like, so,
the
Sony made a come up here.
No, a serious.
Sony made a come up here.
And you know what's so great about this is Sony gave a bunch of another woman who wrote the story, and Gina and Christopher are writing the script. So like this is like you can see how Sony's trying to appeal to everybody here. They're like, look, we're going like we saw what you did, WB with Wonder Woman. We saw what you did. Now here's that times 2. So we're dropping all of these things. I mean, it's supposed to be an anti-hero buddy movie. It's so good. What I'm reading about this movie and what I've read about this movie, it just seems like it's going to be so good. When is this coming out? 2019?
Yeah, they call it for in 2019, next year.
Dog.
This movie is supposed to drop.
This movie?
The next biggest news about this film that I'm waiting for is the casting.
Casting, yes.
Because anyone knows Sony, even though Sony still has to, for people out there who are like me, who are wishing they cast at least one of these ladies as a black person, just know that they can't do it because it's in Marvel's contract that the characters have to remain white. That's all I'm saying. No. Unless they get special permission from Marvel, they gotta cast these as white ladies. And I'm not even mad about that. If you gotta cast it as white women, hey, by all means, we are not a show that needs to identify by race. So if you got casted as white women, as long as you pick two talented actresses to do it, I could care less about the complexion of their skin. This would be so fucking dope.
It'd be dope if they get if we
so
get a woman
fucking
of color.
dope if they cast this as at least one as a woman of color.
Yeah,
this could be so fucking dope.
I think maybe Black Cat would probably have to be white, but Silver Sable, it's still up for grabs.
Hey man, that's all I'm saying. Like I'm looking forward to it. What are you doing here, Sony?
Gina, what to do? You gonna be?
Hey man,
like
on Sony. Mm-hmm. I see what y'all doing, Sony. Between this joke, the Spider-Verse, into the Spider-Verse with the J's, Miles.
They put on some J's, bro.
Come on now. Are y'all? Is Sony doing this for the culture? I think so right now, Joe.
You know, if Sony really wants to win in this movie, cast a person of color as one of the lead actresses in this movie. You have already supplanted what Warner Brothers did with Wonder Woman, and you've already supplanted what Marvel did with Black Panther. Because one, you've given us a buddy female movie, two lead female comic book characters, one, and you've given us a African American, the first African American lead in a comic book movie that is a woman, bro. Yeah,
man. Listen.
You hear me, Gina? You hear me, Sony?
See what y'all doing, Sony. I'm let's say between this and also what I'm saying from Venom.
Right.
I'm really appreciating you, Sony, right now, man. Y'all have decided to go a completely different direction, and I'm feeling y'all right now because again, when you got the license to as many properties as they have, dude, I don't need to have everything linked. No. I don't want everything linked.
No.
Give me good movies.
And you know what?
Fuck if it's part of a universe or if it's standalone.
That's what I'm saying.
Give me a good movie.
Didn't we talk about this in one of our other, in I think our last episode that we did? We talked about how Warner Brothers could be doing a universe that's not linked. You could have a Wonder Woman universe, Batman universe, Superman universe. Don't link them. Just throw a Justice League movie out because that's what needs to happen. We don't need each and every character meeting up in every movie because you know how comic books are written? Comic books are written like this. There's a Superman comic, there's a Wonder Woman comic, there's a Batman comic, and guess what? There's a Justice League comic. One doesn't have to do with the other. Superman isn't always in a Wonder Woman book. Batman isn't always in a Wonder Woman book. That's what I think Sony is doing. I think we're getting a Spideyverse without Spider-Man, and it's not going to link. There's probably going to be one big movie where these characters kind of meet up, but before then, we will get all these solo projects, and I am.
They just want to give you nice solo projects. I have no issue with that.
None.
I feel it's dope. Again, Gina Prince Spiderwood. That's her. How's that name?
Yep.
I have so many jokes for her. But again, I mean, just for the culture alone, she directed Love and Basketball.
Hey.
She gets forever credits for that, Joe.
Forever.
So, only way Sony could do better if in their next movie they hired the Hughes brothers to direct it or something.
That's now you're asking for too much.
So, well, speaking about that, even though another topic would be a better transition, but I'm going to stick with our order and say the next transition is Netflix going up for sale. Now, it was reported this past week that it's a good chance that Apple will end up buying Netflix. Come on. I know I've said on this show countless times that Netflix eventually is going to get bought out because Netflix is going to start looking like food to other companies and not like a profitable business.
Right.
What do you think about the rumors of Apple buying Netflix out? And if Apple doesn't, what other major players you can see trying to buy Netflix?
I can still see Comcast trying to do it. Comcast, because right now Netflix is already integrated with your Comcast Xfinity box or whatever. And that's one way. I don't know if T-Mobile is in, because T-Mobile now gives every new customer Netflix for life. So if you sign up with T-Mobile, I don't know what contract you got to do. You sign up with T-Mobile, you get Netflix for life, or while you have your account. But I definitely see. I'm definitely on board if what's it called? I'm blanking right now. If Apple buys it, I'm definitely on board with that. I think that's a good move. I think that's a really good move for Apple to do.
See, and I'm on the other side of this, and it's for reasons that have nothing to do with Netflix. Apple currently has a war chest, and their war chest is about $250 billion. What I mean by war chest, most companies don't have that much free-flowing cash available. That's what makes Apple's stock prices so high, is that they have so much cash. In all honesty, Apple has the cash to buy Disney if they chose to. Apple has the cash to buy just about anybody because that's a lot of cash to go around. But if Apple was to buy Netflix, it would fundamentally change their business structure. And that's why I don't ever see them buying Netflix. While I can see other people, I can see Amazon attempting to buy Netflix. I can see Facebook attempting to buy Netflix. With Apple, they are such a consumer-based business. I don't see them attempting to say we're going to spend $75 billion to buy an overvalued Netflix. Because Netflix is worth nowhere near that actual
that's what
price.
is Netflix really valued at $75 billion?
That's the problem. Because they're so overvalued, you're going to pay a huge premium for a company that can't give you that return. But you only do it for the infrastructure. I don't see Apple jumping out there for the infrastructure. Because Apple has enough money, in all honesty, so many other ways they can get that infrastructure if they want it. But if you get a company like Amazon who decides, hey, we can afford to buy this, and we can find a way to better integrate it into the rest of our businesses, which Apple is not set up to do with Netflix.
You're right.
Because in the end, Netflix is still a mini studio.
Or Beats One or whatever. They haven't really been able to
like
do
Apple. That. Apple doesn't. They do good at what they do, which is sell products to consumers.
Right.
But unless you're changing this to iFlix or something of that nature,
right?
It's not the same thing to me. I don't see how those two businesses merge well together.
Actually, but I can see how they can do that. You see how what Apple did when they got Beats, and you remember Beats already had their radio station, Beats One or whatever. What Apple did is when they bought it, they created Beats One radio station on their iTunes app, and then slowly but surely integrated Beats One into an Apple thing. So it's now you can't get Beats One unless you go into the Apple app and the iTunes the app store and get it that way. You can't get Beats One. You have to get it through iTunes. So
I think it's the money though.
Yeah, but I mean they can always integrate into iTunes and call it and instead of instead of now paying Netflix, you pay Apple, and they'll give that to you for free. It's something where they could. I mean, I don't know how they would do it, but I don't see
the issue would be
super impossible.
The reason it would be impossible is because Beats cost them $3 billion.
True.
It's a very little bit of money. You spend $75 billion on something. Guess what? That has become the main focus of your business.
Right.
And that's the issue with Apple, is that they would have to completely shift the focus from the products to whatever they expect to do with Netflix. Because that's way too much money. You can't drop $75 billion on something and treat it like a side project. True. It's no longer a side project at that point. No. Beats
you gotta integrate
has been a side project because it's only $3 billion. So that's a nice little side project that, in all honesty, does it even look like or seem like Apple really cares about it? No. They use that infrastructure that Beats Radio had to integrate it into iTunes and their radio stuff. That's the only reason they bought it. With Netflix, I know people thinking, well, they have other businesses that tie into Netflix, but it's the $75 billion that would be too much for them to do. So that's why I don't think this will integrate well. Again, as Mo said, you can look at Comcast, you can look at Facebook.
I see Comcast.
I really say look at Facebook right now.
Okay. But I see Comcast
really look at Facebook
and just turn it into a regular channel.
One of the reasons I say that is because I can see I can see Comcast going after Sony instead.
Right.
Wanting to buy Sony because of the history of that stuff. Comcast is looking at Netflix like you're a little company. We're not paying X amount of dollars for a little company, even for the infrastructure that Comcast doesn't need.
I'm here for anybody buying Netflix and giving us better entertainment.
Well, as I said, man, Netflix is $22 billion in debt.
Like, that's all.
The only reason the thought of Apple buying them is coming up is because they're so far in debt that someone's going to buy that debt and say, "Hey, I want your infrastructure." Right. And then Netflix no longer exists as you know it.
Anyways, Lucas, instead of Lucas keeping it happy topics before we get to this trash ass topic, let me close out the show talking about this one that got me excited earlier today. This was the news about DCEU has found their new film guy. They found their new boss in film, and I am excited. They tapped Walter Hamada to oversee DC Films productions. How excited are? I mean, you probably don't care, Lucas, but I care a lot.
Oh yeah,
I just want to hear what you have to say about
DC
this.
Films altogether.
Okay,
but what I am hyped about is that this is someone who grown the Conjuring universe the way it's grown too, because he's been the guy behind the way Conjuring, Annabelle Creation, The Nun, Crooked Man, all these films are gelling together. It's because of this guy here, and because of his work there, they said, "Hey, why not have you do the DC films? Like, it would only make sense. You've already helped create this vast horror universe we have. Why not help create and fix DCEU with quality and a bigger role than anything else?" Which again is what I said when I said the pivot to solo movies.
Yeah,
we'll be hyped, Mo. Should be good.
No, I am hyped. Again. Also, I'm hyped because, like you said, the Conjuring universe. This guy's worked well with James Wan. So James Wan is one of the major directors right now. He's probably going to work really well with Wonder Woman and Pony Smasher, Patty Jenkins and Pony Smasher. So why not? Like, if you've helped build something that no one expected seeing as a universe, let's get that straight first. Nobody expected the Conjuring universe to be a Conjuring universe. If you did, then you're better than me. But I know you didn't expect that to happen. That was a subtle universe that they threw at us.
Everybody expected that to happen that way.
Exactly. A very subtle universe they threw at us. Like, look, this man was behind that. He threw that at us, and everyone has loved that so far. James Wan continues to work with and for him. So, hey, man, like, I'm not mad at this. I love the idea of all of these, of him coming in and anchoring, the DC.
And it makes sense. It makes sense, man. Complete sense. Again, the current president of Warner Brothers, him and this guy worked hand in hand with each other when they were both over New Line Cinema. Like, he clearly put somebody in charge of the DCEU that he trusts, because he knows with this person, the quality of film is going to be what he wants it to be, instead of being stuck with he who should not be named director anymore, and him thinking he was producing this shit. Man. So again, this is of course correct. It's the right way to do this.
I have a quick question. For you. So you know how everyone has said, "Oh, well, he who must not be named is done, but he's still going to be a producer." Are we looking?
Yeah, that's over. That's over.
He's done, right?
That's over. Okay. There's no way in hell they brought in this man. He's going to be the producer, and there will be no one else that will have impact.
Right.
You may get some people that may get an executive producer credit. Right. That means that you actually do nothing. That you may just have to give the credit, but to actually produce the films, you're looking at the guy, man. And right now, he's made Warner Brothers more money than anybody else between the Conjuring universe, and he was the producer on it.
Oh well, that's
literally he's made them more money than anyone else. It's perfect, man. This is Warner Brothers keeping everything in house, and this is what they needed to do. Right. Don't go outside looking for someone. Don't even go outside of your film division like they tried to do with Jeff Johns and bring in somebody, or the other dude from the television side of DC and bring him in to do the films. No, bring in somebody who knows how to do films.
Right.
Fuck them being tied to comic books.
And you know
Fuck
what?
That.
You know what's
funny?
He
is not comic books. The key is a good movie.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny is People say Kevin Feige. Yes, Kevin Feige started with comics, but have you noticed that Kevin Feige, after a while, moved and focused in film? And that's why he's where he's at right now, in charge of the Marvel Universe, is because he's not touched comics in a while. His main focus has been film. He did, like Lucas said in one of our other shows, the X-Men Universe. Didn't he do wasn't he connected to Spider-Man?
Yes, he is.
So, Fantastic Four. Look,
yeah.
Kevin Feige has been a film guy for a minute. People think Kevin Feige is new. He's not new to the game. He's been there. And so I am with you on this one. Yes, Jeff Johns was good because, yes, he brought the comic expertise, but you needed someone who does movies, who does films. And of course, no film person is going to shoot a three-pointer and make a three-pointer every time. No film person is going to hit a home run out the park. But this guy, yes, he has. If you're going to come in my comment section right now and say he did this and he did that, but fuck you, yes, nobody, even Michael Jordan had off days. This man is at his off movies. Let's talk about what he's done.
Kevin Feige was the producer on Elektra.
Yeah,
and Blade Trinity.
Never forget.
Executive producer.
Never forget.
He was the producer on those two films.
Never forget.
Everybody. So you can't look at this guy and say he's going to fail. I'm guessing because you may pull a bad movie here or there.
Yeah, you feel that he's pull some, but name me one director, producer, filmmaker who hasn't made a bad movie. So get out of here. Like, I don't want to hear that nonsense. Look, at the end of the day, we should all be happy. If you're a DC fan, listen to this podcast right now. Take my word for this. We should all be happy because, again, I will preface it like this. This man gave us the most underrated and undertone universe that nobody expected. The Conjuring universe has been a hit since the first Conjuring movie. We're getting 2 more movies, one this year and I think one next year, right? From this universe.
2 this year.
Oh, 2 this year.
2.
So
you get the Nun and the Crooked Man, I believe, this year.
So let's not forget that this man has done this. This man has worked with James Wan. James Wan is a director on a DC movie right now. So guess what? He's going to work well with James Wan. I'm pretty sure he's probably a good guy, easy guy to work with. So he's going to work well with Patty Jenkins moving forward. And they're probably working right now on Shazam. Don't be scared. Look, I like Jeff Johns.
There's no doubt they interjected him immediately into all their film universes. And there's no telling how long he's actually been there already.
Right. Anyway, man.
Again, most of the bad stuff people could say he did wasn't necessarily him producing. That was him doing other things before he became just the producer. Dude, you made the Conjuring universe, homie. You made the biggest horror movie in history.
Anyway,
this should work.
Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Unless Lucas wants to add something, I'm saying this was a very, very good show. This is the second show of 2018. Thank you guys. Actually, you know what? Before we go, I want to shout out a listener and someone who's listened and commented on a lot, or maybe a couple of our podcasts. Cedric House, thank you for commenting on the last episode. And I did.
No, homie. Thanks you for coming by the page and commenting, even though what you said made no fucking sense humanly possible. You waved that little Marvel flag hard as fuck, dude. Right. Again, as I said on there in the comment section, come with facts, not emotions.
Okay. Well,
I do appreciate you commenting. We appreciate you for listening, but fuck you though. Get your shit together next time. You come and try to fucking compare the MCU to Star Wars. Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's just the way to show.
But again, thanks for listening. There you go.
Anyway, thank you guys out there for listening. Thank you for rocking with us. This has been another episode of Lucas and Moe Versus the World. Enjoy your new year. Make sure you get all your New Year's resolutions done. I know I'm working on now. Lucas, you got something to say?
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Peace.
I was told to defend this goal, defend to the death, to